All right. Welcome, everyone. So excited you're here this evening. My name is Dr. Stacy Holweger, and I am going to be sharing with you an incredible speaker that's going to be here with us this evening that's going to tell you a lot of information about LifeWave's technology and how it works and how it can help you and show you we have a presentation here. He's going to show you before and after pictures from using the LifeWaves technology with the BioWell. So before we get started, just a quick disclaimer. I am not a medical doctor. Greg is not a medical doctor. The information that we're sharing here this evening is not intended to treat, cure, diagnose, prevent anything that's going on with you. Of course, if you have any questions in regards to your health, your medications, please check with your healthcare practitioner, your doctor. They're going to be able to assist you in what you need best. The information we're sharing tonight is obviously happening in Greg's practice, but it's not for the purposes of saying we're treating or curing anything. We are using LifeWave's technology, and we're going to share a lot of great information with you about that. So, Greg, who I'm going to introduce here right now, is a dedicated teacher, a spiritual writer, an ultra runner, LifeWave consultant, and nutrition coach. He is deeply passionate about guiding others through life's transitions with a focus on optimal health, resilience, and mindfulness. His unique approach blends physical endurance with spiritual growth, inspiring holistic well-being. As a father of five and a devoted husband, he understands the importance of balance in both family and personal pursuits. He will share his insights on health, wellness, and the power of lifelong growth. And we will be having his wife Amy on sometime in the coming weeks as well too, who is also a practitioner that utilizes this in what she does with her clients. So Greg, thank you for being here this evening. We are so happy you're here and looking forward to hearing from you and how you utilize LifeWave's technology and all the amazing things that you're doing. So can you come on here and just give us, a little bit of that background there and take us up to speed to how you found out about LifeWave? Of course, everyone wants to know, why did you say, yes, I'm interested in this technology with all the things you have in your background with spiritual, physical, of course, nutrition. And then, of course, we're going to screen share here in just a minute.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, my name's Greg Patuk. It's nice to meet everybody. My wife is, just to get that out of the way as well, my wife is the BioWell practitioner. So, she is the one that runs all the tests. And I'm just lucky enough to always have it in the house so we can always, scan ourselves like pre-patch and post-patch and after so many hours and, just do a lot of tests with it. So it's really neat to see how LifeWave has and does, really affect us, in real time. I mean, it's amazing that we're able to do this. I got into LifeWave because I am an ultra runner. I call myself like an ultra slow jogger or walker. I'm basically just, I try to go as far as I can during certain races. I actually have a 100 miler coming up on Saturday that I definitely attribute to the LifeWave patches because this time a year ago, I tried to do this race and I only got to around 45 miles or so just because my knees were an absolute mess. I thought that I wouldn't be able to really do ultras anymore. Just walking through the woods, my knees were hurting. And, I pretty much have tried everything. I'm also a nutrition coach. So, I went the various diets and the various nutrition routes. I tried substituting certain foods and taking out certain foods and doing certain exercises and, doing this and that. And just nothing was really putting myself like over the edge again to the point where I could finish races and just, do my day-to-day life of, playing with the kids and getting up and down off the carpet, playing horse and just doing all the things that I wanted to do, go hunting with Isaac, like my older son. So we just happened to have like a dinner date with Amy's cousins, and they're also into LifeWave, and they were talking about the patches. And it really wasn't it wasn't like a LifeWave meeting, but, they were doing it. And, just through talking and stuff, they're like, oh, we might have something that can help you. Here's what it is. And I probably sat with that for a good month and a half before I really took the plunge because I think like many people, we think, oh, what really like this little patch, can do all that, and it can just seem to, heal. And they had wonderful testimonies, and I totally believe them and respect them. I mean, they're wonderful people. But, there's just that seed of doubt where something can just be that powerful when you thought that you've tried, everything, right? And, you're looking at surgeries, you're looking at, medications, and I'm only 49. So I really don't want to go down that route yet. I wanted to do something more holistic and more natural. So, like I said, I tried to disprove Lifewave by looking it up. And of course, that always just seems to prove it. And so I think it was about a month and a half after our conversation, I contacted Lisa, and we said, all right, let's do it. We're ready to go, and we're all in. So we started taking the patches, and I'm trying to think. I've taken them now for over 6 months, and I was to the point where if I walked maybe a mile, my knees would start to bother me again, even with the clean eating that I was doing. If I had like my heavy hunting boots on walking through the woods, I noticed that really bothered, them as well. And after really what it amounted to about a month and a half after patching, I noticed, just that kind of went away. Now I still couldn't run a far distance yet, but in regards to just doing my everyday type stuff, walking through the woods and playing with my kids and doing all that, the inflammation and that just annoying pain that kind of just, it drags you down. You try not to let it drag you down, but when you have that, not chronic, but yeah, chronic, just that chronic pain and that chronic inflammation, I just never really realized really how that affected my mood and how that affected my well-being just overall with the way I thought about things. And then I just noticed myself too, just becoming just happier and more pleasant, and just like, life just seemed more light. And it kind of sneaks up on you sometimes, and the patches just kind of snuck up on me. And I was like, oh my goodness, like this is what's going on. This is, why, I feel this way, because I don't have the chronic pain anymore. I don't have the chronic inflammation. And I'm actually to the point now where I'm going to try to do the 100-miler on Saturday. We're going to see if I can do it. My main goal is to get to 50 miles. And then my son, Isaac, and my brother can be what's called a pacer. They can join you on the trail.
Huh.
So my big motivation is just to be like totally hallucinating and goofy at about 2 a.m. and have Isaac there with me in the middle of the woods, in the middle of the night, and just share time together and just, enjoy the adventures that we go on. So that's kind of like my Lifewave story with that.
Well, that sounds exciting and amazing. You'll have to keep us posted with how that's going for you with your race. Yeah. Yeah. How far you get with it, I can't imagine 100 miles. I have, wow, that's a lot. A marathon is less than 30, right? So where you're looking at over three times that.
Right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Well, it's all about the journey. It's all about the, being with your family and the
Yeah.
adventures. So we'll see how
Yeah.
it goes.
Well,
So,
fantastic. So,
yeah.
Greg, are you ready to screen share and let's talk a little bit about this BioWell and how this works? The box sitting behind you there. How is this something that is measuring our body and being able to show differences? How would you describe that?
Yeah, sure. So this is, the BioWell that, my wife is a practitioner of. So basically what you do is, she'll, talk to you about everything. And then you simply start with your right or left hand, it doesn't matter. And there's just like a little hole right here, and you put your finger into it. And there's a glass plate inside of it. And the glass plate underneath it emits a very, very, very tiny electrical charge that goes through your entire body. And then through gas just discharge visualization, you're able to see the photons that you have in your system. And with that, and through Kirlian photography, you can see your energy, like your energy body. You can see the energy going to your meridians and to your bodily systems. and into your energy centers, throughout your body.
Mhm.
So what I would like to do, Dr. Stacy, then can I show like the images of what the meridians and the fingers look like and everything?
Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
So I'm going to share my screen. Um, share. Here we go. So as you guys can see, on the left was like the Kirlian photography of I'm not sure which finger it was, but you can see where before Lifewave, my energy was very incoherent. It was very, in layman's terms, right? There's like lots of holes and lots of blotches all around that. And those lines coming into the center point are your meridian systems, because on every fingertip, your meridian systems come together on that. Now, different meridians can overlap on different fingers, or, some fingers might have, their own meridian systems that are going throughout your body. But this is what the first thing that you'll see, like if you, let's say, do a BioWell scan, you'll see this image first right away, because as you're actually putting your fingers into the system, this image comes out. And you can really see the difference here before Lifewave. And this was 6 hours after using the patch that day. So we scanned ourselves before the patch that morning, and then later on that day, we rescanned, and
So,
you can
Greg,
see.
is this
Oh,
just X39 or is this other patches as well too?
this was X39 and Eon.
X39 and Eon. Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
But then, as you can see, like on Afterlife Wave, that light blue ring is very coherent. Like that's my energy systems really, working and firing on all cylinders.
Hmm.
And when you have coherent energy, right? And whenever you're aligned, like your energy systems are aligned, then your body can utilize that energy, properly, and it's more efficient. So this will be the first image that you would see when doing a BioWell scan, with AIM. The second image that you would see would be your actual energy field. So our energy throughout our body is measured in joules. So when I refer to joules, that's just basically the system of measurement for your body's energy system. So it's like saying centimeters for length or pounds for weight. So when I use joules, that's really all that it refers to. And this was an image, again, before and after, the life wave. And on my left, uh, Amy likes to say that you really want your energy field to have like that nice, light blue ring around it. And if you have more, we call them spikies, like the red and blue spikes that are coming off. The more of those, the better as well. And you can see where on my energy field, I had 39 joules, going through my system before the patch. And then after the patch on this scan, I had 59 joules of energy. So it jumped up 20 joules, which is quite a bit. And you could also notice like that light blue, initial ring is much more visible. It's thicker, which shows a coherence of energy.
Hmm. Absolutely. And time-wise, is this 9/1 versus 10/17? Is that the date stamp at the top?
Um,
See at the top where it says 9/1/2024 or 1/9/2024, and it says 17/10/2024?
yeah, this would have been the one that we took about a month and a half into using it. Yes.
Okay, fantastic. I just want to make
Yeah.
sure so they knew the timeline. And this is X39 and Eon.
Yes.
Perfect. Amazing.
Okay. Some of the slides that I'm going to show you was from January 7th,
Hmm.
and it was throughout a 4 hour period. It was a snow day that day. And I remember waking up, and I'm pretty sure that we had like virtual school that day. So, I kind of woke up and got into the day and everything. And then I realized that I didn't patch. So we scanned myself real fast. About 4 hours later, after playing in the snow, I was fasting that day, so I didn't eat at all. Um, and I was, just basically going down hills and dragging my small children up and down the hills and playing with my older son and wrestling around. These are some of the results that came from patching that day with the X39 and with the Eon.
Okay.
You'll see that I went from and I'll show you the organ systems disbalanced. It decreased from 11 to 4. My energy centers increased almost 2 entire joules, which is quite a high number to jump up in just that 4-hour period. My energy reserves, which is like my battery of my body, and I'll equate that to like your cell phone battery, and all of your bodily systems are like the apps that your body runs. My battery actually, from fasting that day and actually running around and playing in the snow, just from, I attribute it to the Lifewave patches, went from a 16 to a 70. Now, you can have, with like an incredible night's sleep and incredible rest, get to a 100%. You don't really see that often. And this doesn't mean either that if you hit a 0, that you're just going to fall, like flat on your face and just like, pass out and not be able to move. This is your energetic body and your energetic systems that we're talking about. So that's what those numbers represent. And the energy in all of my systems increased, including my, energy systems alignment, which I'll be showing you here in a second.
Okay.
So this was just like a double bar graph showing the orange was before and the purple was after, or during, right, using the patches. So in this sort of measurement, they look at the left energy field, the front energy field, and the right energy field. And as you see, they all bumped up quite a bit. Again, this is in joules. So that was like a really good, graphic, to take a look at. And this one shows how, again, orange is before and purple is after. My stress decreased. Now, my stress was already in the optimal level if you take a look at that. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't have a lot of room to really go down, because you don't want your stress to be so low that you become like lethargic and just, totally out of it. But as you see, it did decrease, which is always a good marker. My energy levels went up. And then the lower one, my number of organs in disbalance, I may have misspoke on the last one, went from, well, on this one it says from a 10 down to a 4. So my organs were heavily disbalanced on the left-hand side, as you can see with the energy. And there were just 2 on each side. And they were more or less on the optimal level as well. So that's a marker that, Amy sometimes points out that that's a really big, decrease whenever you went from a 10 to basically a 4, like 2 on each side. That's a really good number to, to get.
Awesome. It's good to me.
Yeah, this shows, so these next 2 graphs, again, is before patching, and then this is after patching. So basically what this shows is the energy going into your parasympathetic and sympathetic, nervous systems. The parasympathetic is the blue, the sympathetic is the green. And on this, bar graph, you can see where the joules, if you can see on the left-hand side, the joules really don't get much more than a 5.3. If, that one way in the middle there with my, parasympathetic side, kind of spiked up. And if you take a look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's like 10 or 11, systems that are in total disbalance. Some are on my, sympathetic side. Some are on my parasympathetic side. But what you want are for those, bars to be fairly within, a small distance of each other. And this again was, before patching. After patching, as you can see, the energy systems, and this is really what we saw, that was pretty amazing. The energy to each of these systems really flew up to the point now where they're almost at 7 joules. And, many of them are above that 5.5 level, where before, we were just barely reaching the 5.5 level. And when you look at this, there are many of my, you know, organ systems, above that or even well above that. And they're all in basic balance of one another. So this really is an interesting, graph to see the effects of the Lifewave and how they were on my body right at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you have any questions on that, or should I keep you mean to
Oh,
keep
that's
on?
fantastic. I mean, just go back one more time and then so look at the colors.
So the bold systems are the ones that are in disbalance. I'm sorry, I didn't actually say that. So, the bold ones are in disbalance, and that one is about at a 5.3,
Hmm.
right? And then when you look at it on this one, this is after, or this is during patching. And
Hmm.
now, so many of them are above, the old mark of like that 5.3. They're well above 5.5 in the 6 to 7 range of joules going into those systems,
Hmm.
which is what you want. You want energy going into your bodily systems. So then it radiates out and actually, helps your body become, more of a efficient, vessel that we're using.
And you have less that are bold, which means a body more imbalance, correct?
Right. So it went from 10 systems in disbalance to only 4 systems in disbalance.
Hmm. From
And
X39 and neon.
from X39 Neon. And then two, you never know sometimes what's throwing these in disbalance, when you have just like a low number, like, maybe I ate, maybe I drank something, you just never know what's happening in your bodily systems to throw something a little bit out of whack.
Hmm.
But, to go from that number of 10 with such low energy to now 4 with everything is producing at such a high energy,
Right.
that's really the great difference of it all.
It's amazing.
Um, these are your energy systems, and I remember when AIM did this, it just it blew her away because as you can see on the left hand side, my energy systems had somewhere about 4 joules or less of energy going into them.
Mhm.
So, each energy center is like a hub, right, of your body's energy systems. So you have that hub of energy, and then it can radiate out and actually optimally run those, organ systems and systems, connected to that center, right? And if you look at on the right hand side, my energy centers, the way that the balls, for lack of a better word, increased. I mean, they increased, some over 2 joules worth of energy, which in this regard, that's a very, very high number to raise up after such a small period of time.
Hmm.
And
Definitely.
as and you can also see that my energy centers are more in line. So when your energy centers are more in line, then your body can use the energy more optimally because everything's just running smoother and kind of firing the way that it should.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes total sense. You go from in the threes to almost in the sixes.
Right.
Hmm. It's fantastic. And I love that alignment. The alignment is key, right? That you have more of an alignment in the second picture. And then, like you said, that was just a few hours.
Yep, that was just me running around, dragging my kids around in the snow, going up and down hills and stuff. So, when you think about that, you should think about, oh my gosh, you come in and you're so tired and whew, I need to lie down. And man, I was still just, I was humming, like I was good to go. And as we know, it's not like a jittery, nervous type energy. It's just that
Right.
underlying stamina that you have in your body that
Yeah,
just allows you to just feel good and just feel on top of things and just want to keep moving.
I love it. Perfect.
And then just, I'm going to cheat a little bit. Okay. So these next 2 slides basically are a measurement of, this is like your body's energy reserve, like I talked about before with quality of sleep and everything.
Hmm.
So, your body's energy reserve, to put it simply, is basically like your cell phone battery charge. So if you imagine your body as a cell phone and all of these systems that are around that wheel are the apps of your phone, then of course to have the apps running at a good performance level, you want a lot of, energy in your battery because it can kind of just, deplete your energy.
Hmm.
Before patching that day, I was at a 16% energy reserve, which is super low. Um, my bodily systems were not getting the energy that they needed to run optimally. It can create just tiredness, and you just don't feel, quite yourself whenever you're that low of energy. Now, after patching, as you can see, my energy reserves bumped up to a 70%. And the orange, so you can kind of slightly see the orange in the middle there, but that dark black now is where my energy reserves were at, during my 4 hours of patching. And then basically it shows you where the energy is going and not going in your different systems, on your left and sides of your body.
Hmm.
So this really was, quite remarkable as well. Whenever we took a look at this, how it jumped up so dramatically just from a 4 hour use.
16 to 70% on your reserve energy in 4 hours.
Right. And
That,
that's after doing, that's after depleting my body of energy, supposedly by doing, being outside and being very physical. That's not like, you have like a higher heart rate now and you have adrenaline pumping through your
right.
system. This is your this is your energetic system. So this is, they're connected, but it's also totally different in that respect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, and then this this is like the last slide of the before and after, but based on two, we talk about like the Ayurveda kind of system, like your 6 stages of illness. I really like how Aim and I were talking one day about this, and it's really interesting how a lot of times we find in traditional medicine they jump right to the stages 5 and 6 of an ailment. And we were really talking about how Lifewave basically goes to stages 3 and 4 before the symptoms and all that can occur. So it's really interesting how everything all works. But the graphs that we have that we've been able to just have fun playing around with and stuff are just show the results for Amy and I just so well. It's just been can I stop sharing
Yeah,
my
absolutely, of course.
I'm going to stop sharing. It's just been an absolute just amazing success with seeing the changes that the LifeWave has had on us. And I mean, we love talking about it to people just because the results are there. It's just so interesting to take a look at the before and afters.
So, the patches, and again, X39 and Eon are what we're talking about here that you're using during the before and after, and that you utilize, Amy uses with her clients. You talked about having a table set up, and Amy's scanning on one side and you're on the other side, and the clients are coming over and you're making the recommendations based on what you're seeing with these patches. So the patches, just so you guys understand, they look like this, an X39 and an Eon. They look like little round band-aids. They look identical, but each patch has its own different crystal lattice structure in it. So it's activating and elevating a different peptide within the body that do different things. And so when you look at these results in a short period of time, I just want you to understand that you may not feel anything from the patches. And we get this a lot. I put these patches on, I didn't feel anything. I didn't notice anything, but that right there shows you whether you feel it or not, something's working at cellular level, right? With our energy, something is working with the body. Would you agree with that, Greg?
Oh, for sure. Like you don't, it's like I said with my knees, even like now that's a physical ailment that I felt, but it's just an underlying, it just kind of sneaks up on you and it makes you just feel like, just feel good. My mom said, after using the patches for about a month, she just felt happier and lighter. And it was really impactful to me because she said, with the patches, Gregory, I didn't realize this, but I feel like myself again. And I just thought, oh my goodness, what a beautiful way of saying what the patches can do for you.
Absolutely, definitely. And so Greg, thank you so much for being on here this evening. Thank you for sharing your story and your experience. And of course, we wish you the best of luck with your race this weekend. But
Oh,
thank you
yeah.
for sharing your before and after with the BioWell. If you want more information or you want to learn a little bit more about the BioWell, of course, I just put a link in the chat. Lifewave has actually done clinical studies with the BioWell. If you've heard me talk in the past about our vascular age, looking at that cardiovascular system, every 6 weeks of using X39, we can see the vascular system is functioning 8 weeks younger. And you will, if you look at the study I just put in the chat, if you're here wanting to check out a little bit more, then please look at that. It's going to look familiar to some of the slides that you just saw Greg share with his own personal experience. And like I said, we're going to have Amy on here in a couple weeks, and she's going to be going through more of what she's seen on a clinical basis with the people that she's scanning herself. But I thought it was very important to get a background and understanding from just, a regular guy, a dad, a husband, guy that's, cares about his nutrition and his fitness that really is making a difference out there, and an easy way to understand this technology and how you can be able to utilize this. Now, anyone can purchase a BioWell, of course. We're all allowed to do that. You have to go through someone to buy that. We don't have anything to do with that. Now, Amy might. I don't
Yeah.
know. Does Amy have anything to do with that? Yeah.
Yeah, no, she can. Now, could I put her website on the
Yeah,
chat, or is that
put that in the
not?
chat, please. Yes, absolutely. So I actually did my first PhD. I was sharing that with Greg. The dissertation that I wrote, 150-page dissertation, was utilizing the BioWell as the tool for measurement for measuring my 12 participants that were in that 12-week study that I did in my PhD in quantum integrative medicine. So BioWell is an incredible tool. It's a fantastic tool. Obviously, it's not needed to use the patches. You don't have to have an assessment at all, right, to use the patches, but it's kind of really cool to see what is really happening when, especially, we're not actually feeling anything, but things are happening on the inside, right? They're happening no matter what. And I think this has been a great representation of that. So thank you, Greg, for taking
Oh,
time out of your evening to be here with us away from your family. And we know you're a busy dad and everything that you have going. So thank you so much.
I was happy to be on here and happy to share, the results and our stories with this. So no problem.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. You guys have a fantastic evening. Get back with a person that invited you. Greg has put Amy, his wife's link in the chat as well too. And of course, we'll have this recording up available for you guys here shortly. And we look forward to seeing you again on a Zoom soon. Thank you guys.